Okay, boys, welcome back to another episode of the Dirty Dog Podcast. If you guys haven't already, go subscribe, go fucking like, go follow. We're hosted here in Vancouver, and we have a pretty special guest here on. John Kutzdahl, owner of Acid Underground. Big guy. How's it going?
Good, man. Good. Thank you for having me.
No worries, man. We've been talking about having you on for quite a while here. Last two times that I talked to you was actually probably in the club, being like, "Yo, bro, I need you on my podcast." Like,
that's the way to get it going, though. Really, it's better than just reaching out in the DMs.
It was like last week I actually saw you and I just reached out and I was like, "Bro, I need you to come on." Here we are actually making it happen, man.
Oh, let's go. I'm with it.
Yeah, bro. So I'm a huge fan of your work. Actually, you've been doing this for a while now. How long have you been doing this for?
Probably since 2016 after graduating, but I would say like I really started to get traction in 2018.
That's so the whole movement of like doing like your clothing, like how did it like come to be? Like, where'd this idea come from?
I just like wanted to. I always liked clothing, and making clothes was kind of something. I don't know. I never thought about doing it, but I painted, so I've always been doing that since I was a kid, and it just kind of came together where I just wanted to start changing things that I had. So I just started to learn just to, make like a modification for something to wear. And then I, got more ideas and just kind of went from there.
Yeah. So like, where does the name come from? The name's Acid Underground. Like, you don't hear that all the time.
Yeah. Really, it's just acid.
Yeah.
And then underground art is like it's like graffiti kind of stuff like that.
Okay.
So, and right now I'm kind of also in the middle of doing like a brand, like not a changeover, but like a bit of a rebrand.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be moving towards being called Acid by John.
Okay.
Because like if you Google like acid art, which was the old website.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you get a lot of random shit, you know what I mean?
Okay,
like it's not really like tailored to find me specifically. If you Google Acid by John, you're going to get my website first.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So like you're in the process of doing this right now? Or like?
Yeah. So like I have the Instagram handle ready. I have the website ready. I'm just kind of like, filling the website with products and stuff.
Yeah. Just critiquing it.
Yeah. And then I'm waiting on like I have these sweatpants that I got made in a factory. So that's kind of also what I'm looking to do with the rebrand is not just only make my stuff by hand.
Yeah.
Because it's too hard to make everything by hand. I kind of want to have enough time to focus on the thing that I'm about to make and really put like, a week's worth of effort into it. Not just like, I got to make 3-4 pants in a week. I want to make like one pair in a week, and really take my time on that.
Yeah.
While then also subsidizing the income with like sweatpants, track jacket, toque, etc.
Takes a lot of time out of you as well, like when you're trying to like build a brand or something and you're doing like all the custom work.
Yeah,
it takes a lot out of you, man.
Yeah, definitely. And it's a cool aspect to a brand. Like I don't want to stop doing that, but I feel like in order to grow as a brand and really like just like bring kind of like the value up, you know what I mean? Like you can't just be charging like $200-$300 for some pants that you make by yourself. You really gotta. Those pants are realistically worth like $500 to $600 if you put the right time and effort in,
Of course.
So I feel like just getting into the basics and stuff, like stuff that I'm not going to make by hand, like sweatpants, toques, belt buckles, sunglasses, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of where I want to go. And then I think it'll all kind of come full circle eventually.
Eventually, if you just got to put in the time and like, and as I see right now, like money. You're putting the time and effort in, like you're doing well right now, man.
Thank you.
So big ups to you. So like, what are some of your inspirations? Like, who do you value? Who do you look up to in the sense of like creation or like just anything that goes along the lines of just like being a creative person?
I try not to like follow too many people that do something really similar to what I do unless I kind of know them personally. Because I feel like you get kind of in like a competition, like it's Instagram or it's like social media. Like someone's always doing something and people are so good at what they do, so it's like it can be disheartening to just always see people doing so well, so much stuff if you're kind of working behind the scenes and stuff. So I kind of try to just focus on stuff that inspires me, not like in the world of clothing but like outside of that. So I look to artists that do like other genres, or like if they make clothes, they don't do the kind of the style that I do, they do a completely different style, so I look to people like outside the realm of what I do for inspiration, so it doesn't like kind of get in the way.
Yeah, you're like, if you're constantly looking at social media, man, you're like constantly reevaluating yourself in the sense.
And it's like like the kind of the corny sound is the vision. You have a vision of what you want to create, right? And so if you're kind of looking at everybody else's vision of what they want to create too much, you're gonna get lost.
Of course.
Yeah.
Damn, bro. Well said, man. What are some like custom pieces that you've made throughout the years that have kind of like stuck with you, that have made a difference in your work?
It's probably the pieces that like didn't make a difference that stuck with me harder. Like I made this hoodie one time for Killy, and he never fucking wore it, which is whatever. But anyway, I made him a hoodie. He never wore it, but it was a really dope hoodie. You know, I painted a bunch of like the Pokemon. Like he had the Gengar chain.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I painted like Gengar and all the little evolutions. It was a saucy little hoodie.
Yeah.
But like I whipped it up really quickly. Forgot to take pictures of it and stuff. Never wore it. Never saw it again. So it's kind of like that's the one that I think about. If you say one thing that I made that stands out, it's that one, because it's like didn't get a photo. Like never saw it again. Don't know what happened to it. But
Damn.
that's the one.
Good practice though, man. Do you have a favorite piece that you've made that you wish you could have just kept, that you were making for someone else?
That's a good question. I'd probably say the favorite pieces that I have are stuff that I've been kind of saving in the past couple years to then re-release under this new stuff. So like, if there's one thing that I made for somebody else though that I think I wish I had, it was these jeans I made for my homie Lebo from Seattle.
Yeah.
So they're just like, he's really friggin' tall, right? So they're just these black denim jeans, really long, stack, nice fit, not too baggy or nothing, but you know, real nice jeans. And then I did these like glitter stripes down the side.
Yeah.
Like a biker inspired denim.
Yeah.
And those are sweet. And I've got, you know, people asking me, oh, I want a pair of those. I want a pair of those. Like,
yeah.
I think I'm going to make myself a pair.
Damn, bro. Have you had any like crazy requests that you've like had to turn down or anything?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Or is there one that's like so absurd that you could talk about right now?
Well, this one came from those. So I made those pants for that guy with like the glitter fabric.
Okay.
And this is not that absurd, but someone was like, "Oh, I just want to like have a bomber jacket made out of that," and I was like, I don't really want to make that. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. Like, I just didn't want to make it.
Yeah, fair. You have a lot of reoccurring people that just like keep wanting stuff from you.
Yeah, I got one client, or one like group of clients especially. I believe they're from Massachusetts.
Yeah.
And so this woman, she does artist management. So between multiple of her artists, they probably, and herself, they have probably like maybe 10 pairs of jeans, probably about $3,000 in American.
Whoa.
So that's my best client for sure.
Damn.
Yeah.
And when you're creating these jeans, I know you're talking about like moving away from the creating it yourself kind of thing and getting other people to do it, but like put your mind onto paper and then do your pieces. But like, are there any pieces that you do that you've tried and you've gotten the order or whatever, however it works, when someone reaches out to you and they're like, I want this and this?
Yeah.
Have you ever like stuck your finger in and been like, fuck, like I can't do this, but like you've kind of like worked around it?
Yeah. I mean, there's more times that I would have worked around it based on like a time constraint. Like someone has to do like a show or a music video and then they need it for this time. So those are the ones that you can overcome just by like locking in, staying up late or whatever.
Yeah.
Ones that I can't do and there's nothing I can do about it. Like, I don't know why. And I was talking to one of my other friends who does clothing design the other day, because we were working with bleach, like separately. We were, we're both talking about different applications for bleach, whether it be like stencils or stamps, etc., like putting your design onto a shirt. So we were talking about why some fabric just doesn't bleach. Like you put the bleach on, it doesn't change.
Yeah.
So sometimes, recently, this one person wanted to make like for like a cowboy themed music video, really like bleached old Levi's. Yeah. And like super nice pair of Levi's, and I started with like the usual bleach water ratio. And
usual process.
Yeah, and it didn't work, so I upped the dose, and finally it was just pure bleach and nothing happened. So I had to give the guy the jeans back. Yeah, I was like, I don't know, man. Like I don't have an explanation for it.
Yeah, no, obviously you're not.
I reckon it's just like the type of dye used or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you overcame that. Like that's crazy. First of all, that bleach didn't take the color out of that.
Yeah,
like,
I don't know, because it's like bleach. If you get a little bit on your pants, it's like it's gonna be there forever. Yeah. So I'm not sure what's up with that. It's always the clothes that you want to bleach that don't bleach.
When you're doing custom clothes and shit, or like bags, you do totes. I saw you do everything pretty much.
Yeah.
What's the most like difficult part? Like to zippers, to like flares. Like you do it all obviously, but what's the most like difficult piece on the piece of clothes, you think?
The most difficult part for me used to be doing stuff that's like really like deep in the knees of pants.
Yeah.
And then I kind of learned a technique of unsewing the inner seam.
Okay.
Which then once you kind of, it then flattens out the piece of denim.
Yeah.
And then you can put it in the machine. So it used to be I would try to like fold the jean up and kind of make it fit, but it would never fit right. You know what I mean? So that was a big thing in the past. Pretty much anything that you want to learn, like basic sewing, is pretty easy to do.
Yeah.
Measuring stuff, I'm not mathematically inclined, so I tend to not measure stuff as good as I should. So I mean, sometimes like that's a bitch, but most of it's pretty simple and pretty easy to overcome. There's lots of YouTube tutorials.
Yeah.
Google,
You learned so much over the fucking years of doing this too.
Yeah, trial and error is the best way to do it. Like originally I learned in like the back of this like sewing shop full of like old ladies.
Oh really?
Yeah, it was tight though. Like, just like basic stuff like zippers and
yeah,
stuff. Yeah. So that was like probably the only formal sewing experience I had.
And so you're pretty much self-made, pretty much like you've taught yourself almost everything there can be. And like obviously you have so much more to overcome in the sense that like there's so much that you haven't done.
Yeah.
But
like, everything this far, yeah, I've taught myself besides the basics of how to operate a machine and stuff. Pattern making is like the act of like making the shape of a clothing.
Yeah.
As opposed to like making the garment itself. So once you have a pattern made, you can replicate the piece over and over again.
Yeah.
So like that's like a whole science. You can take like a university course on that. You can become rich off of just making patterns for companies.
Yeah. I
don't have any training in that. I would like to learn that. That's something. But again, like people can have like their whole career devoted to that. So like
holy,
it's how deep do you want to dive in things? You got to have a broad vision and you got to see all the options, but you got to figure out what you're really interested in, etc.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Are there any like favorite celebrities that you've like tried to reach out to that you want to work with, or like how does that work? Like you've met a handful of celebrities up to like Boslin, NLE Choppa.
Yeah.
You're just saying Killy. There are probably so many more. Like how does it work when you're reaching out to these people? Is it to them or is it to their team?
Usually it's to the people at the venue they're performing at.
Oh, okay.
So if it's a local venue, there's probably a chance that I know somebody who works at the venue. Because it's all about just getting in the room with the person at that point. Yeah. So if you can just get into the venue and you're in the same room, the green room, like before they perform, it's just a conversation.
So it's almost kind of a sense of luck.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. And also like how much they genuinely fuck with the clothing. Because there's a lot of people in there, and like, I don't know, peer pressure is real. People don't want to seem like too friendly or whatever. Like,
yeah, obviously.
It's like, so, you also just want to have luck. You want to go in there with a good product and not have a problem.
Well, it seems like luck's been on your side for a while because I mean you've met a lot of celebrities. I mean, from even to like rich people or like whatever it is, like you've met your handful already.
Yeah, a couple.
Is there a person that you like wish to work with eventually that you want to make a piece for?
That's a good question. Not specifically a person I want to make something for, but I would like to have people who make clothes that I look up to. Even just like conversations with these people is just like interesting, because like a lot of these people, if they have like say like 100,000 followers,
yeah,
they probably still run their Instagram account to some level.
Yeah.
So it's like, again, the luck of having them see your message and reply and having a conversation with that person is kind of my goal right now. And again, I have success, I have no success. It's all luck,
I see that you're,
as you said.
I also see that you're reaching out to like homies and shit that you're friends with, and you're making them custom pieces, which is super sick.
Yeah.
Kind of like supporting their brands and stuff.
Yeah, for sure. You're talking the J2 Events collab.
I saw that. I saw that one too. Actually, that one was pretty sick.
Good. Yeah. So again, stuff like that, it's all about, because these people have been my friends since high school, right? So it's nice to just kind of, work with people, and then they bring people who are interested in what they're doing. Maybe not so interested in what I'm doing, but there's always kind of like a cross promotional aspect.
So like that's like prime example of you scratch my back, I'll scratch your back.
Yeah.
In the sense of like growth.
Yeah, because you don't want to, like, everything is not to, like, I don't know, everything's transactional in a sense. Like, obviously you can be, like, people are friends and stuff, but, like, what can your friends do for you? And, like, what does everything do for everybody? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got to kind of assess that. And even if you're going to do more for somebody in that situation, it's almost worth it.
Yeah.
Because it's like, that's kind of what it's all about.
Yeah.
Like if you're put in a position to do that, that's kind of dope. Like,
Yeah, it's unreal because you guys are just feeding off each other,
Exactly.
giving you guys' energy to each other and stuff.
Exactly.
Do you when people reach out to you and they're like clients and stuff that you don't know, what are your general prices? Is it priced upon like how long it takes, what material, or?
I mean, like the minimum you're gonna be spending is like $100. Maybe a bit less if you have the piece of clothing. You're located in town, I can get the clothing off you. It's very minimal work, then maybe less. But generally, if you want like a pair of pants or something, you're looking at about $100 to $200, depending on if you have the pants or the piece of clothing for me to work off of.
Yeah,
I much prefer it if the client does, because even if someone like knows their sizing, I'm a size 34 waist, but like a size 34 in one brand is not a size 34 in another brand. And
fair.
Like if someone has a pair of jeans or a jacket or whatever, and they know that fits them, that's ideal.
Do you have any like problems with like making someone a piece of clothes and then they come back to you and they're like, doesn't fit, bro?
Yeah, I had that one time. And so again, that was kind of a toss up about who was at fault, because he didn't ask for all the measurements.
Yeah.
And the size on the tag was stated to be an XL, and it really didn't fit like an extra
wasn't
large.
an XL.
Yeah, it wasn't. But like that's not my fault, but it's also not his fault. So anyway, the agreement we came to is that he ships the jacket back.
Yeah.
Pays for just a little extra, and then I was to remake the jacket in a size that would fit him properly. And so that was the conclusion.
Damn.
Yeah.
Do you when you're making clothes, I know you don't always do for people, but like I don't know, but do you just like you'll make a piece of clothes or like a hat or a tote, socks, whatever it is, and you'll just throw it up on your page and be like, it's this much money?
Yeah.
Like, do you work like that?
Yeah, and I'm trying to do more of that with the new website.
Yeah.
I'm splitting up the website into two, like the shop anyway, into two categories, which would be ready-made and made to order.
Yeah.
So ready-made is something like a sweatpant that is made in a factory. I have like 20 of them.
Yeah.
And they are ready to be shipped.
Yeah.
You know? And then made to order is like I show an image of the design, you choose the size you want, and then there's obviously like a little blurb about shipping, manufacturing time.
Yeah.
A little longer than with the other ready-made.
Yeah.
So then I would make the design in their chosen size and ship it to them.
Fucking right.
So that's where I'm trying to head with that, because as much as like making people's ideas has taught me things and sent me in directions that I wouldn't usually go, and I've learned from that, it's hard to have a brand identity if all you're doing is making other people's ideas.
Yeah, true. Also takes like a toll on your vision.
Exactly,
a little bit.
Exactly, because you don't have the time to create what you want to create, and it's good to get some money, but if you don't really like the thing you're making, it's like
not really.
The balance quickly slips, and it's
Fair.
like, okay, even if I'm getting some money, I would rather not get this money, and I would rather make something that I really believe in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have you ever, so you're saying how you usually just like show up to people's shows with the piece or whatever it is that you've
If
made
I have an in, yeah.
If you have an in.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so like post like.
Yeah. I don't go unless I know that I'm going to be able to get in that room.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say, have you ever made a piece for someone and then you try and go to the event and they just don't see this person?
No.
No?
The closest thing would be that situation with Killy where I made the hoodie and I just never heard about it again.
You were up at like Seymour or Cypress or something, taking photos of them in front of a bunch of cars or something. Is that what I saw?
No.
With the piece? Maybe that was someone else.
That was somebody else.
Fair. Do you have any other projects like on the go other than your website and stuff? Like, are you kind of like fishing to go into something else, or are you like trying to off brand?
I also sell like vintage high fashion resale. So not so much like hype kind of clothing, but more like vintage luxury fashion and just kind of like stuff that I fuck with. So like vintage Japanese designer, streetwear, stuff like that. So I sell on Grailed and Depop.
Okay.
And so I recently did that through COVID. You know, I just like amassed just too many clothes, right? I decided to downsize.
Yeah.
So I, made selling accounts, and I've sold a ton of shit.
Damn, bro.
And I made a bunch of money. So I'm also now, I buy and sell. I always have my eyes out for interesting pieces of clothing that I don't want to do anything to them. I just see a value in it more than what the person is asking for, and I've had fairly good luck with that.
And so with that, like, you're also trying to like like this vintage clothing and stuff, like
Yeah.
that's a pretty like niche market, no?
Yeah, it is. So that's why these buying and selling apps are good, because you buy local here where the stuff kind of is.
Yeah.
Vancouver's an affluent city and stuff. There's a lot of extras lying around.
Yeah.
And then you put it on the world market, and then somebody in like butt fuck nowhere in the middle of fucking USA who doesn't have access to this stuff is gonna pay that kind of. And it's I guess you call it a premium. They're going to pay a little extra because they don't have access to this.
Of course
thing.
They are. Of course.
Yeah.
That's how the fucking world works, man.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a big one. And then like Ed Hardy, like Von Dutch kind of so that's been a big one recently. Like, and you got to know what's coming or what's going, right? So
yeah.
Ed Hardy, I feel I don't know how hot it is. Like, it was definitely getting real hot for a bit. I was selling jeans for like, I think the most I got was like 400 American for a pair of Ed Hardy jeans.
Oh, wow.
So like real good money, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was really lucrative. Like Von Dutch hats, that's a big one. Yeah.
Damn. So you're how often do you think you're like looking for things?
Every day.
Every day.
Every day.
So
like, if it's not in person, it's on like online marketplace.
So time consuming, but this is what you love, right?
Yeah.
Like this, like where do you see Acid John is going to be the rebrand?
Acid by John.
Acid by John. Where do you see this in the next 5 years, 10 years? What's your goal here?
I mean, the hope is to really just be completely self-sufficient and be able to like release products, like basics and stuff.
Yeah.
Toques, sunglasses, belt buckles, shoelaces, like whatever. I want to just be able to, new colorways. Like, I have the black track pants. I'm going to be releasing those soon. I'd love to do like a camouflage, just expand on different colorways, new ideas, and just kind of go, stem out that way. Because if that takes off, then I can hire someone to do graphic design. I can hire someone to do this and that, So the hope would be that the clothing brand, like the ready-made stuff, kind of takes itself.
Yeah, of course.
And then I can kind of focus on making paintings and sculptures and these really detailed one-on-one clothing pieces that are more like art than just some piece of clothing, what I mean?
Yeah, because that's so time-consuming, man. Just like
But
putting all that effort towards
like you said earlier, that's like literally like I fuck with it, so it's like it doesn't feel like
doesn't feel like work.
Yeah, it feels like I'm looking for clothes. I do it every day, but I'd be doing it anyways.
Yeah.
So I might as well make some money off of it,
Of course, man. So when you're like trying to expand this business, what goes into like looking for this? Do you have people helping you behind the scenes kind of, or is this just like all you?
I would definitely have to shout out my parents on that. They're really helpful with like literally like when I was in Mexico.
Yeah.
As we were talking before.
Yeah.
They shipped probably like $1.50 worth of merch for me.
Oh, wow.
While I was in Mexico.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just like, buzzing down to the post office. I'd hop on the FaceTime, like tell them like, because my room is literally like every conceivable bit of floor, ceiling, whatever has got like hooks, hangers, shelving.
Oh,
whatever.
really?
Yeah, a lot of clothes.
It's like a little thrift shop in there.
Pretty much, man. Like a lot of stuff, man. So I kind of point them to where it's at and
Yeah.
send them the address, and they'd send me the tracking info. So I gotta shout out my parents on that, man.
Fucking
They've been a
man.
big help on that.
That's what parents are for, man.
Facts, man.
Yeah.
The support, it's unreal.
So when you're like gonna take a step back from all this, are you looking to move to a certain area to kind of get this popping, or are you comfortable here in Vancouver? Because it's kind of like Vancouver's kind of like not a central hub, I'd say.
Yeah.
To like kind of get your brand or whatever you're doing popping. It's kind of like the upper west of like.
Yeah.
Like I don't even know. It's not like LA or Miami or anything.
But it is on the come up, I think. And like artists you brought up earlier, specifically one was Boslin.
Yeah.
He's really claiming Vancouver and kind of taking that to the world stage. So all the love to him for that. And I see Vancouver as an up and coming city.
Yeah.
Like there is a lot of people who do creative stuff. And I don't know, there's just people seem to, move away and head away to kind of chase that. So I'm really interested in traveling and going places and kind of furthering connections that I've made through social media and stuff, and kind of, linking these photographers in like New York or whatever, where, for a week or a month, you know what I mean? Like definitely traveling, but I don't know if I'm like needing to like move my home base at this point. I mean, if there was an opportunity, say like a manufacturing deal in like LA or something, some place to get your clothing made. Even then though, you get a manufacturing deal, you don't got to leave here. Like technology, like,
dude, you do everything
alone. I
get
get these made like halfway across the world, and I just talk to the guy on WhatsApp and it's all good. So
yeah, nice. That's like kind of like what I'm trying to do with this podcast. Actually, my goal is to actually create like some type of central hub for like artists, designers, like whoever you are, to just like come on and talk about your product. I feel like there's not enough of that here to like kind of like push it all across Canada and like get the wave going.
For sure. No, and it's a good thing, man, because just having like a conversation is just so important, because like I said just a second ago, there's so many creatives and people in this city doing like stuff.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of money here. There's a lot of people with
There's
ideas.
too much fucking money here.
Facts. Nah, but there's a lot of people doing stuff. So it's like if you can kind of find a way for people to feel like they're part of like a community or something, that helps bring the city up into a place, that people are, they don't want to leave, because there's like this infrastructure to at least kind of make them feel like they're being seen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's really important, man.
I also feel like a super important part about why people move is like the weather, obviously, because like creating content, like obviously you have to be indoors 90% of the fucking time while you're here.
Yeah.
Just like the weather's so much nicer. It's so much easier to like do shit.
That's facts. And like you mentioned LA is like a just an insanely unique place. Like there's just an insane abundance of creatives there. It's just insane, man. So I would love to get out there for longer. But
you were actually there for a while. I saw you were there for a bit.
I was driving around LA last March. Then I went to like Vegas and stuff. Just kind of, I've always wanted to drive to Vegas and shit. So
how long did it take you to get down there?
Well, we flew down to LA, but like it just took like a day to drive to Vegas.
Oh, okay.
And then we just went for the weekend. That was neat.
Nice.
Yeah.
You met a bunch of people in Vegas, or not Vegas, in LA.
Yeah.
Bunch of like I wouldn't say they're kind of like hipster kind of looking. Like I have no idea how to kind of describe them, but they're very unique people.
I mentioned that the people that spent a bunch of money with me from Massachusetts earlier. Yeah. So I happened to just run into them with no planning or whatever, coming out of the BB Simon store on Melrose. Yeah. So they were just going in and, they're like, what are you doing here? I'm like, what are you doing here? Like, I'm closer to home than you are right now. Shit, So I linked them. They had like a photographer with them and stuff. So like that was cool. Then I linked up with this other guy that I'd only known through social media, and I had just happened to see him. Like again, he wasn't originally from LA, but he had moved there like a month prior or something, like very close to me being there. And then he's just on the same street as I met those other people, like 5 minutes down the block. He's just selling his clothes. So I rocked up on him, and I was just like, no, like I know your stuff, and we just chopped it up, and we linked up again, did a photo shoot. Yeah, it was great. So I had him modeling. I think you might be the hipster guy you're referring to, crazy colored hair and shit.
Yeah, he was definitely unique.
Yeah, Bill, the homie.
Damn. When you're traveling like in these remote places like LA or whatever, not remote, but like during like all these places, are you constantly looking for people to like promote your products and stuff? Like, are you reaching out to people on the street and stuff?
More I'm like looking for like location visibility. Yeah. Part of being in LA and making content is people simply seeing that you're in LA. Like, it's so recognizable. So when I was out in these places, Joshua Tree, whatever. Yeah. I wasn't reaching out to the people so much as I was looking at like the location itself. Can I use this like notable location? Yeah. To my advantage. So that was a big one. Locations.
Do you have a dream place that you want to go to promote your product, like Miami or something?
I mean, Miami would be cool. New York would be cool. Like, just to see on like a personal level. Yeah. I mean, just going to these places and bringing your stuff. Like, I was really bummed. I got my first sample of these right after. Like, I was in the airport going to Mexico, and UPS dropped off the sample at my crib. So I obviously couldn't bring them with me, right? I would have loved to wear my shit in Mexico. So, I mean, I just, like, anywhere I would, I just want to travel and, like, bring stuff with me. And, I mean, you can just do whatever once you got it there. Yeah. It's all about having, like, a good photographer with you as well. That's a huge one.
That's definitely a huge part, eh?
Yeah.
I mean, it's so fucking I have people behind the camera trying to work for me, and like it's difficult to coordinate everything and like start up in yourself.
Yeah, and it's difficult to find people that share like a kind of cohesive vision or idea.
Yeah.
And there's also like a balance of egos and powers and stuff that you got to kind of.
Everyone's got a different vision, man.
Exactly, and everyone's trying to make it for themselves. No one can be 100% for you. They got to.
Not yet.
Facts, until the money gets up, but as it is,
So when you're gonna be moving away from all this stuff and rebranding and stuff, is it hard on yourself to like try and put together an image? Like, are you going to be like pushing yourself towards, you said you were doing something with the factory and stuff?
Yeah.
Like, is it going to be difficult for you to like kind of step away from your work, like because you love it so much? Or like,
I'm gonna continue to be working. There's definitely not gonna be a point where I stop making like the 101s. Yeah. There's a lot of 101s that I have like new that I haven't shown for the new website and stuff. Yeah. So like I don't want to make it seem like I'm stepping away from that to move towards this stuff. I'm just, if before it was like one stream of income, say. Now it's like 2.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to like double up on that.
Fair enough.
So I'm definitely not going to be stopping working on anything. I just feel like this is something I can literally do while I sleep. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Are you backed up with work? Like,
No.
are you, no?
Like there's a shit ton of projects that I just like really want to do, but there's a time and place for everything. There's
Yeah.
an audience for everything, and whether or not the audience is ready is kind of up to you to figure out. Because it's like I could drop something last year, but I wouldn't have really had the audience to receive it, and whether or not I really have that much bigger of an audience now is completely up to like personal opinion. But
Yeah.
I feel as though is now the time for this.
Yeah.
Whatever if it's one piece of clothing, the rebrand, whatever, there's a time for everything.
Yeah, you got to play your cards properly.
Yeah, and just make it seem like a cohesive, at least like an evolution. You know what I mean? Like if I don't want people to think that I've always been this new brand. People, they got to see that the brand grows and changes.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. So when can people expect to see you rebranding all this stuff? Or like, is it not
That's a
that
good
much of a
question.
priority, as in like you're still going to be doing your own stuff for a bit, or?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sitting on like a bunch of boxes full of these sweats. So what I got to do now is, there's a couple photographers I have in mind for this, and I have some ideas. So I need to meet them, talk concepts and stuff.
Yeah.
I have props, a couple ideas, so I'm going to get into that. And I want to create the content before I put the sweatpants out. So I think that's going to be hard to kind of sit on all these sweats and all these hoodies. Like these are all like my design. Like, so they're not just like my logo on a pair of sweatpants. They're specific measurements that I've decided. Yeah. Same with the hoodie. So I'm really excited to show people that, but I really want to have these crazy kind of photo video assets ready before I put the pieces out, because like it's like putting the cart before the horse. Like I can't give the people the sweats before I show them how fucking sick they are. You know what I mean? Yeah.
It's all about marketing your product properly and shit.
Exactly. And if people are, oh man, I really want to pair these now, it's like, well, maybe like waiting an extra 2-3 weeks or a month or whatever however long it takes me to get my act together. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Maybe that'll hype them up. Maybe they'll lose interest, but either way, it's like you got to do it the right way.
Well, you're going to be constantly growing from here. There's no going backwards at this point.
Yeah, I hope so. It's all about commitment, really, because it's like if you give up, like in 5 years, like I could still not be like making money, but as long as I'm self-sufficient, like that's the goal.
Yeah, and as long as you keep your mind open, like at all times, to be progressing and to be moving and to be putting all this onto work. But
yeah, new experiences. Always got to be open to new experiences. Like that was something that kind of pushed me towards making these clothing in the factories. During COVID, I started to sell these clothes that I just, I think are cool, but I don't have the space for.
Fair enough.
And I know they're worth something. So I figured once I started to make money from that, I was like, damn, I feel just as good getting money from, if not better, because I put in less work,
Yeah.
I feel great getting this money. So like, I don't need to like, it's not a compromise. Like I felt like it would be a compromise to get my clothes made in a factory, but it's not a compromise. Like it's all one kind of collective thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's sweet, brother. So where can these people find you? Like for the people in the audience, what socials can they find you on? So
my personal, just like where I post me trying to look cool or whatever, is John from Acid. That's on Instagram.
Yeah.
And then acid_underground_art. That's my current Instagram handle.
Maybe we'll throw them up here for
That's a fucking mouthful though, right? So
yeah, we'll throw them up here.
Hopefully maybe by the time this airs, that'll be Acid by John, which I think is, much easier to search in, no underscores, no nothing, just Acid by John. And then for people who are looking to buy just designer clothes, vintage, just like archive, streetwear, etc., Grailed or Depop, John from Acid.
Fair enough. All right, brother. Guys, we're going to be wrapping this up right now, but thank you so much for watching, guys. John, big round of applause for this guy. Thank you so much for coming on, brother.
Man, thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
No worries, guys. Peace.